Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Havin Jauke. I'm a personal development coach, I'm a writer, and I'm an engineer. Anyway guys, this series is going to be very exciting. I'm going to be doing this long series where I'm explaining the details of how I went through not having a car to buying a car, the nitty-gritties of buying a car, the financing of having the car, the maintenance of having the car. And the reason for that is because today I'm recording this is the 24th of November and tomorrow is the 25th of November. That makes it 6 years since I started having my own car. Anyway, I know you guys have questions. Is it a car paid off? What's happening? The nitty-gritties. That is the reason why you want to subscribe, you want to like, you want to comment so that you can be able to know what is the journey, what the journey has been, what the journey is, and what the journey can be for you. Anyway, I think around 2022, I wrote a thread on Twitter, now that is known as X, explaining the details of how the stress of having a car or the excitement of having a car. And the reason why I did that is because my car was turning 100,000 kilometer mileage, right? So sorry about that. So it was something very huge for me, it was something that I always look forward to. It's something that I've never believed that my car can able to reach that mileage while I still have the car, while I'm still owning the car, and at least by God's grace I'm able to still pay for the car anyway. For this particular video, I just want to take a moment and just share one tip, which is going to be the most important part of this series on how to purchase a car, especially as a first-time buyer, right? Now, one thing that I've realized in most of us is that when we start now this process of buying a car is that there are so many things that we overlook, right? We overlook what it's going to mean to have the car, the 5 rents that you'll be paying, whether you're paying the guy at the mall or whether you're just paying for your tickets on the parking, the car wash that you will have to do, those minor maintenance that you will have to do, the little scratches and dents that you will have to fix every now and then because you want to keep the value of the car. And if you're a guy, because you love the car, right? So we don't factor in those type of things. Obviously, we don't factor in the fact that you will have to go to stadium one time and then maybe you'll also have to use this car full time, use it to go to work and all those type of things. So there's so many things that you don't factor in between, right? So most of us were just caught up by surprise to say, I've never known that this car can be so much expensive. I've never known that this is the type of brutality that this car is going to talk me through in terms of the amount of money that I would have to spend, in terms of the parts and everything that has to do with the car, which I'll be discussing in this video. So for me right now, reflecting on the 6 years that I've been having this car, is that I can look back and say that, actually the first law, the first principle about buying a car is that you must use your head, not your heart, right? So the first thing that you need to do when you're going to buy a car, you want to use your head, not your heart. So you use your head to decide what car you need to buy, and you use your heart to maintain the car. Now, why is that so important? Because in many instances, what we do is that we use our heart to decide the car that we want to buy. And what do we know about the heart? The heart, guys, wants so many things. The heart wants the house it cannot afford at the moment. The heart wants anything that it cannot maybe have at that particular moment, right? And the heart sometimes is not willing to accept that at this particular moment, maybe I'm not in the standard or in the bracket where I can be able to afford this type of things, right? So the first thing that you want to do is that you want to use your head. So what do you do with your head? You use your head to say, what is my income statement? Like, how am I making my money? Where does the money come from, right? And obviously this doesn't mean that if you're making a lot of money now, you might not be making maybe more money in the future, or if you're making less money now, you cannot be making more, or if you are making money right now, it is not possible that in the future you can be making 0 rand, because I've been in that situation, right? So what you want to do is that you want to say to yourself, okay, at this point of my life, this is, if I project this in the next coming 5 years or maybe 6 years, this is like on an average my income, right? So I'm going to be earning roughly 25,000 rand, given the industry that I'm in, whatsoever, right? Because most people will factor in things that are not realistic, right? You want to say, oh, right now I'm earning 25,000 rand, right? But it doesn't mean anything. I can always get promotion, blah blah blah. And the things that you're factoring in things that are outside of what your control, right? And what happens is that when you put in things that are outside of your control, you become what? Frustrated. Anyway, so let me not deviate here. So the first thing that you want to do is that you want to do the calculations, and you say, okay, what is the typical amount of money that I can spend on the installment of the car, plus the insurance, plus typically the fuel expenditures that I'm going to have, and those small things, right? And you decide on that. What does that mean? Which means that right now, when you go with your negotiation, whoever you're going to meet, whether it's a salesperson, whether you're going to the dealer, whether you're selling it from, wherever you're buying the car from, you already have a nominal value to say, you know what, guys, this is what I'm willing to spend. You know, what if the guy come and say that, well, oh no, we just want to, there's this deal, you can just spend maybe 500 more. You say, guys, this is what I'm willing to spend. I'm only willing to spend 6,000 rand in total, with no balloon, for the next coming 5 years or for the next coming 8 years. It's up to you, right? So what does that help you? It helps you that when you use your head to do the calculation for the car, by the time that you meet a person that is selling the car, you don't become confused, right? Because those guys are trained. Salespeople are trained. They are doing their job and they want to feed their families. What are they going to do? They are going to make sure that they do anything possible within their capacity and ability to make sure that they make you to get something that you have not maybe originally intended to get, right? So when you start and you say, you know what, according to my calculation, according to my budget, this is what I'm planning to spend. What does that do? It makes you be in control. Be in control of whatsoever that you're going to buy. Because if you're not sure about what you're going to buy, if you're not sure about your incomes, if you're not sure about your budget, it means that any person, anywhere in the street, they can get you to buy anything that they can be able to get a commission from, that they can be able to make an income from. Remember, for them, it's business. So being able to understand that the industry that I'm approaching has these metrics that are important to them to be able to get me to buy anything, that becomes a very essential role, right? So that is lesson number one, or that is law number one that I want you guys to prioritize, that when you are now starting to buy a car, the most important thing that you have to make sure that you have figured it out is that you're going to buy the car that makes sense to your finances, not the car that makes sense to your dreams, right? Because all of us are in different levels of our dreams. Obviously, if the money is allowing, the budget is allowing, there's nothing wrong with buying anything, right? There's nothing wrong with buying anything. But most of us, we usually start in a bracket where you're probably the first person at home to own the car, probably the first person at home to know the nitty-gritties of an insurance. Actually, you won't even know for sure because you are not into these things. So unfortunately, that's how life is. Most of the things you will never know for sure unless you're in them, right? So most of us, we usually use second-hand experience to be able to know about the nitty-gritties of all these industries, like how do I buy a car, what happens if I bump into another car, what happens if the car gets stolen, what happens if the tracker cannot recover the car. All of these things we get to learn from like the next person, right? It's sort of like this generative information or wisdom that we get in society. So that is the law number one that I wanted you guys to familiar with, for you to be able to get more of this content. As I'm telling you that this is a series, please make sure that you subscribe and that you like and that you comment, so that you can able to get to be informed about whatsoever that you're going to be doing next. Because in South Africa, I think we're still in the early inceptions of public transport, from the government. I don't think in the next coming 10 years we'll be able to have an efficient system that will put us in a situation where we don't need to buy our own cars. I mean, electric vehicles in South Africa, the next coming 2 years, no. 10 years, no. 20, maybe, So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Cheers.